Ashura. Do you know what that word means? It comes from the idea of 10. Ashura falls on the 10th day of Muharram, the first month of the Islamic calendar. But knowing the day only tells us where Ashura falls. It doesn't tell us why this day has mattered so deeply to Muslims. For many Sunni Muslims, Ashura brings to mind fasting. It brings to mind Musa, peace be upon him, and the story of God rescuing the Israelites from Pharaoh. For Shia Muslims, Ashura brings to mind Karbala. It brings to mind Imam Hussain, the grandson of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. And it brings to mind, of course, the day he was killed. At first, these seem like very different remembrances. One is about rescue. The other is about a killing that still weighs heavily on our minds. One is associated with fasting. The other is associated with mourning. So it can seem as though Ashura means one thing entirely to Sunnis and another thing to Shia Muslims. But when we look more closely, both stories are dealing with power and injustice. In the story of Musa, Pharaoh had power without restraint. He ruled with arrogance, he oppressed people, and he treated them as though they existed for his control. When Sunni Muslims fast on Ashura, they remember that God rescued Musa and his people. They also remember that God notices oppression, and they remember that no human power is beyond God's judgment. In Karbala, Yazid had authority. He had the machinery of rule behind him. Imam Hussein refused to give that rule moral legitimacy, and he was killed. So Karbala shows us that force is not the same as legitimacy. It also shows that injustice can come from inside the community, from people who use religious language and claim religious authority. So Ashura should not be reduced to the idea that Sunni Muslims fast and Shia Muslims mourn. Both communities, in different ways, have kept alive a concern that runs through Islam itself. How should believers respond when power becomes unjust? There's one more thing I think is worth mentioning. Sunni Muslims love the family of the Prophet. We send blessings on Muhammad and the family of Muhammad in our daily prayers. We know that the Prophet Muhammad loved Hassan and Hussein deeply. And yet, because Karbala became so strongly connected with Shia devotion, many Sunnis are kind of distant from it. Sunnis know Imam Hussein had been wronged. They know what happened was terrible, but many did not think deeply about the significance of that event. They have treated Karbala as Shia grief. And yet there should be no difficulty in saying clearly that what happened to Imam Hussein was one of the major moral tragedies of Muslim history. For Sunnis, Ashura can still be a day of fasting. It can still be a day to remember Musa, peace be upon him, and God's rescue of the oppressed. But it can also be a day to reflect seriously on Imam Hussein. Musa reminds us that God sees those who are crushed by power. No pharaoh is beyond God's judgment. Imam Hussein reminds us that corruption can also arise within Muslim history, and that doing what is right can come at a real cost. Whether we fast, mourn, reflect, or gather, Ashura should make us more willing to recognize injustice, even when it comes from people who speak our language and share our faith. It should make us more careful about power and more committed to the moral demands of Islam. I'm Safiyyah Ally for Let the Quran Speak. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Muslim Media Hub, the new home of Let the Quran Speak.
Here we spread positivity and good. We help people experience the beauty of Islam and help them appreciate and understand Muslims.
This beautiful building we purchased at cost $2.3 million.
Yeah, we've already raised a third of that money, and with your help, inshallah, we can pay off the rest.
So we're looking for people who can give $1,000 each. If you can be part of the select group, that's amazing.
Otherwise, just please give whatever you can. Every dollar counts.
It's our collective responsibility to share the message of Islam with our fellow human beings. Please help us continue this good work.
It's a sadaqah jariyah, something that will continue to be a benefit to the Muslim community long after Safiyyah and I are gone.
Please support our work at muslimmediahub.com.
Your support is zakat eligible and tax deductible.
May Allah bless you and your loved ones today and always. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.